In this episode, I'm going to share with you how we've helped one of our home and garden brands to generate millions in e-commerce sales and how you can do the same. I've written down some of the juicy facts and figures in this notebook, so let's get into it. So look, we've been working with home and garden brands for years. It's one of our favorite sectors. We absolutely love it. And we've got a long and very successful track record of helping home and garden brands. And I think honestly, that comes from a place of the team just really love and can relate to the home and garden products. You know, if you're selling a sofa or something for the garden or, you know, those kind of products, they're very relatable. We've all got them in our houses. And I think that's a big part of why the team here absolutely love working with home and garden products. And the team have just reported back their most recent quarterly update, which is something I have a good look over across all of our clients. And this particular client really caught my eye because their business is just flying. And whilst I can't share all the intricacies of exactly what their numbers look like, obviously due to NDAs and all of that good stuff, what I can do is I can give you a bit of an insight into some of the results they're getting and crucially, what we're doing and how we're doing it, because there's definitely going to be things within that you can take and deploy into your brands. And just to give you a few headlines, sort of set the scene, because it really kind of took me back when the team reported on these numbers, and they sort of did so very casually. They were like, oh yeah, it's up, X percentage. And I was like, really? Wow, that's amazing. So just to give you a couple of facts, I've written them down in my notebook here. So this is all going to be revenue, because I think, whilst you can talk about and report on traffic here and keyword rankings there and all of that, which is all important stuff and it's all great. Ultimately, for e-commerce brands, it's all about revenue, right? That's for us where the conversation starts and ends. Is it's all about what's the money in the till. And so their organic revenue for this most recent quarter that we've just finished, year on year, which is how we always look at our brands. We always look at the, on a quarterly basis, year on year, what are we doing? Where are we? Is up 167% organic. So their organic is up 167%, which is huge. Direct up 101%. Overall, they are up 48% year on year. So their business has almost grown by 50% year on year. Now, this is a brand that is in their third year with us in the home and garden space. Absolutely love working with this brand. They joined us in terms of their e-commerce side, they were under 1 million when they first joined us. This year, they're going to be pushing 2-3 million and beyond in pure e-commerce sales. That's incredible. And it really just shows what can be achieved when you focus on great digital marketing, where you don't try and fudge the system, but actually you just try and, you put in place a long-term strategy, a long-term vision, which is going to build a brand. Now, this client came to us and said, look, over the next 3 to 5 years, I want to build a £5 million business. We said, great, this is what you're going to need. This is what your business is going to need to look like to make that a reality, from where you are right now to where you need to be. And we're halfway through that, and we're ahead of the curve in terms of their revenue and where they are. And what's beautiful about this particular brand is we don't have an over-reliance on any single channel. So it's not as if we're hugely reliant on paid. In fact, year on year, they're paid. We're investing the same amount in paid. So we're not having to invest more. And that's really good from a brand perspective, because it means we can push the ROI, so the ROAS, so we can make every pound we invest in paid media work that much harder, which is great. But as a brand, because the organic side is leveling up and really pushing, it means percentage-wise, we're not becoming overly reliant on one channel, which is so often the case for e-commerce brands, is they just become very, very overly reliant on paid. Is particularly common, and then we're growing, but it's actually, are you really? Because you're having to pay to play all the time. You're paying a premium for those clicks. When you exclude brand, it starts to sort of unravel, and we see that quite often. So this is, what this brand is growing and growing tremendously, but they're doing it in a very organic and a very robust and secure way, which is just brilliant. I saw these numbers and I'm sort of thinking, okay, overall the brand's up 50%. The client is loving life. They're reporting back. They're really happy, which is just great. So it really starts to, for me, I start to look in, what I asked immediately is, what are we doing? How are we doing that? And, what they've reported back is actually, and one of the reasons, for me wanting to share this with you on this video is there's nothing that they're doing which is that revolutionary, right? There's not as if you go, oh, right, that's a really clever strategy. What they're doing is good SEO, digital marketing principles, and they're doing them very, very well, right? And so I'll just share what exactly some of the things that they are doing, that they reported back to me and said, well, this is what we're doing, bang, 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 bang. So how are they doing it? Well, firstly, I guess the big overarching theme for this client for the last this year, so the last few months, has been that they've put a lot of time and energy and focus has been on their category pages. Now, if you're in e-commerce, you're going to have your products, and then those products are going to be categorized into, X number of categories, and then they will sit on the website. What the team really recognized here, and a way of improving their visibility, was they said, right, for these, we've got to turn each of these core categories for the brand into a real topical authority. So they've really looked at not just as a category as, oh, well, this is a collection of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 products, but actually, what is the topic that these products cover, and then how do we build authority around that? And so they've done some clever stuff with the actual category pages, which is really smart. They've also built from that to build topical authority, to build essentially topic clusters to ensure that we have enough valuable, actionable, useful content that is built around and then linking back to that category of products. And within that, you've got the individual products, yes, but by just focusing on the actual products, product category as a whole. So all of these products fit in this type of category, and then saying, right, well, how do we add the most value and become an information resource and build topical authority on that topic? And they spent a lot of time and effort doing that. And funnily enough, that has had the knock-on impact of really increasing the visibility. We've got loads of keywords and terms and commercial keywords that you would want to be top that are now, we just own the search results page for this client. And that's obviously ultimately leading to a lot more sales, which is just fantastic. The client has worked with us to invest in a new website, which has also helped. And that's been in the last 12 months. So that's just enabled the aesthetic, the user experience of the site to increase tenfold, and it's just been so much better. So that has definitely played a part in this. Now, you go back a year, 18 months, 24 months, they wouldn't have done it because they wouldn't have seen the value. But and this is what typically happens with a lot of our accounts, is we start doing the digital marketing, we start pushing the brand on, where we get, 6, 9, 12 months in, we start to see some value. The client starts, okay, this is great, this is good, what else can we do? Then the conversation often turns around, well, is the website good enough? Is it robust enough? Does it need to be slicker? What have we learned from the user experience? What are we learning from how users are engaging that we can deploy? We'd learned a huge amount. The client was keen to get put a new sort of lick of paint on the website, and we were then able to overlay that and work very much with the developers, which a good digital marketing agency will do. You will work with the client, with the client's developers, and we were and say, well, if whilst we're building it, be mindful of this, add this in, take that away, move that over there to here, don't have this, let's remove that step, all of this good stuff. And that again has further aided the user experience. And they've now got a very slick website that looks fantastic. And now we're focusing on building pillar guides or pillar content or whatever you want to call it, but very authoritative pieces of content that are based on the topics that are directly linked to and related back to the categories of the products. So do you see how we're not creating content that is specific on the product? We're doing it around the topic, we're adding value around the topic, which links to the category page, and then the category page, almost think of it like the category is the parent and then all the products are the children. So we're creating content that links to the parent, and then the parent naturally can refer to and link to all the children. It's really simple, right? And that, as a strategy, is enabling this business to go from a couple of years ago, hundreds of thousands worth of revenue, e-com sales, to now it's going to do 2 or 3 million this year. That's incredible. And their investment with us hasn't really changed. They have invested a little bit more, but it's not as if you were trying to do the equivalent on a paid side, you'd have to be massively increasing your budget. If you were a brand that is solely reliant on paid, you'd have to be going, well, I want to increase my revenue by $500,000. I've got to invest another 100,000, 150,000 into doing that, to pushing the brand on. With organic, it has this compounding effect if you get the strategy right. And it's very, very, very powerful. And I think just to wrap this one up, it's, the results are incredible, and I would love to give you more specifics on this, but I can't. But it's a great example of how keeping things really simple and just actually asking yourself, what categories do our products fall into? And then once we're mindful of that, well, how much of an authority and are we demonstrating our expertise around those topics? If you're not, then go and build on that, and then think, well, how do we make our product category pages as good as they can be? Within that, how do we then create authoritative, best on the web content that reinforces our expertise and the value of our products and the expertise we have, and ultimately the reason you're in business? Doing that consistently, and then internally linking to and from the categories, to and from the products, That builds your topical authority. You do that consistently, and Google really sees you as an authority in that space, and then you increase your visibility. So, overall that brand is up almost 50% year on year. Crucially, they're organic from a steady baseline a year ago where it was already doing several £100,000 of organic sales. They've now grown by 167% year on year, thanks to focusing on optimizing and building out category pages, and then creating topical authoritative content that links back to those category pages. So if you're not doing that, then go and look into your data and go and figure out and ask yourself those questions. How can we build topical authority around our categories, not our products specifically? Because if you get the categories right, I guarantee you it will flow through into the products. Hope it's useful. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you haven't already, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care.